How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Whether your business has 6 floors or 6 employees, Walmart Business has everything you need to save time, money, and hassle. You can restock your break room with bulk ordering or bulk up your ordering team with shared payments. And you can get it all delivered straight to your business's door, whether that's on Wall Street or Main Street. Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
Hello, and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. We are so excited to bring you this show.
Our podcast is all about unraveling all of your favorite mysteries from the Assassin's Creed games. Each episode, we'll be talking about a different topic in the Assassin's Creed universe. From Pieces of Eden, Solar Flares, and the Isu, to the Hidden Ones, the Order of Ancients, and of course, the Animus, we will seek to uncover it all.
So join us, and maybe even take a leap of faith.
Hello and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. My name is Shelby. You also know me as She-Cup, and I'm here with my co-host.
Hey, I'm Austin or Teacup.
That you are. So we are back with another one of our Assassin or Templar historical figures. So who are we talking about today, Austin? And I think this is probably one most people are going to know.
Yes, so today we are talking about Nikola Tesla. And this is a very big one. I learned a lot doing this about some preconceived notion I had about Tesla and like his life that I have now since learned are really historical rumors.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really interesting. But yeah, this is the scientist that the Tesla car is named after. And that will become clear by the episode of why that is.
Yeah, but it should be noted at the outset of this episode that Elon Musk is not related to Nikola Tesla.
No.
He just took the name.
No, because of Tesla's work in electricity.
Yeah.
Made it possible for him to do what he needed to do.
I have issues. I don't like Tesla cars, so I'm like always prejudiced against them.
Okay, so I have to tell everyone, we were driving to a Publix the other day, and it was the first time that Shelby had ever seen one of the Cybertrucks from Tesla.
Well, and it's your second time seeing one, not that you see them all the time.
Yeah. And she literally screamed in the car when she saw it. Like, I thought we were like gonna wreck or something like that. And then she started making vomit sounds.
It's so ugly, y'all. Like, it was so ugly. It assaulted my eyeballs.
That's a lot of power to just give a car.
Have you saw it though, right?
Yes, I have seen it. It just doesn't affect my life.
Well, it should, and you need to get glasses.
Okay. I'm wearing glasses right now.
They're blue light glasses.
That is true. So, Nikola Tesla was an Austrian scientist. So he is mainly responsible for what he does. He invents what's called the alternating current electric supply system, or AC, electric supply. Basically, this means that electric current in the supply flows in opposite directions. You normally is what's used when you power houses, when you transfer power across large distances, all things like that. But it also, on a smaller scale, is what allows like you to, like, if you didn't have a laptop, if you removed the battery from your laptop and plugged in your laptop charger, it would still power on the laptop. So it allows the charger to power on and charge the battery because of the alternating currents. This is opposed to direct current electric supply system, which was invented by Edison. And that's power that flows in one direction. Now, what this allows is typically a higher electric current, so more voltage that allows for it to transfer in one direction. They adapt the alternating current later to carry more power later, but that's not Tesla's. So he never went to college. You know, it's actually a theme of like scientists in this time, like not going to college or not finishing their education or actually being bad at their education. Like Edison or Einstein, I remember because I did a 4th grade report on Albert Einstein, and I learned that he struggled in going to school, like, and struggled with like passing school. And I think it was really a testament to the idea that, like, if you're not challenged to the level that you're not, you actually end up doing worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we see that with children all the time who are gifted or in other things, who are not challenged to their intellectual level, and they actually are bad students.
Yeah, they have worse outcomes because they're bored at school, basically.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of what was probably going on with Tesla, because he's a very inventive and very creative thinker, but he never went to college, but he developed an interest in working for electronics and started working in them in the 1880s. So he really is kind of like this turn of the century, the 1800s to the 1900s, 19th to 20th century. That's really when he lives. So he worked for Continental Edison, which is Edison's company. So Edison is much older than Tesla. And was Tesla's boss for a little bit. He also immigrated to the United States, where he became a naturalized citizen. He worked for Edison Machine Works before he struck out on his own. Tesla worked for Edison in America for between 6 months and a year. According to Tesla in his autobiography, Edison got 20 patents off of Tesla's work. Tesla did not suggest in his autobiography that Edison stole his ideas, but he did say that Edison didn't compensate him for what he was promised to have been paid. So this is the kind of like what people like to draw to, that there was this big, like, Edison was this bully who stole all of his success from the work of Tesla. And that, while Tesla says that he wasn't compensated for, it is more kind of like the thing of, like, if you're a chef who's like a line cook in this big, like, culinary system, especially in Europe, and you develop a recipe, the chef you work for owns that recipe. That's the agreement that comes into it. And that's the agreement that Edison had with the people who he worked with, that whatever they invented, when they became patents, they were patented under Edison's name because it was his company. Now, what Tesla argues is that he was not paid what he was promised to be paid, which is what typically happens. Like, with a chef, there's a payment that happens, or other things, there's payment that happens when you're working there and you're inventing these, but the patent and stuff goes under Edison's name. So there's been a lot of discourse across the scientific community. I spent a lot of time just on various different websites, both with .com and .org, on there trying to figure out what is this beef, like what's the historical accuracy of this. And there's a lot of beef between them because later they compete for what's going to power the world system, whether the AC system or the DC system. Tesla never suggests that Edison stole his idea. He just says that he went back on his payment agreement that they had with them.
Which, I mean, to be fair to the people who are saying this, is a form of theft still.
Yes.
But you're right in that people who say, oh, well, Edison just stole all of his ideas from Tesla is a bit of a generalization.
Yes. It's discounting the cultural context and like how things work. Like, and this still happens today. Like, for example, I know some people utilize Canva a lot of times. Anything you design in Canva is Canva's.
Mm-hmm.
It's not yours.
Yeah, similar.
So he gets licensed by Westinghouse House Electronic in 1888 for his AC induction motor and related polyphase AC patent. So a polyphase system is basically what allows the alternating current to work in 3 different phases, which allows for more power to come in. It's basically a way to compensate for DC's ability to generate more power. It earned him a considerable amount of money and became the cornerstone of all polyphase systems that the company eventually marketed. This ideology is what made it possible for us to have an electric car. This entire system, the theory, everything, all the groundwork was made by Tesla. Whether or not you agree with Elon Musk, Tesla is the one who should get credit for having an electric car named after him. I just think that is due to the man who invented the system that made it possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I have my own issues with Elon Musk, which are not relevant to the podcast. But I do very, very much agree with you that like the choice of using Tesla's name to be the brand for the vehicle was an extremely smart decision.
Yes. Well, before we kind of get into the end of his overview and then talk about his involvement with Assassin's Creed, because there is a significant involvement in the series, I think we can take our mid-break.
All right, well, let's do it.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso Virtuo Coffee Machines. Ready to enjoy the bold flavors of barista-quality Nespresso iced coffee at home? Simply fill a glass with ice and press the brew button on your Virtuo Pop machine to enjoy rich double espressos roasted to stand up even when chilled. Refreshingly bold iced coffee. Refreshingly easy to make at home. Visit Nespresso.com to shop now.
As a sports fan, I have to confess. Sometimes the game gets kind of boring. That's when I unfold my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 and use multi-window viewing on its large screen. Boring game? I'm checking out my fantasy baseball league at the same time. Score still 1-0? I'm replying to emails in the other window, scoring points with the boss. Semifinals finally getting exciting? I'm buying tickets to the finals and booking my flights. Can your phone do that?
The new Galaxy Z Fold 7. Get yours at Samsung.com.
This episode is brought to you by FX's Alien Earth, the official podcast. Each week, host Adam Rogers is joined by guests, including the show's creator, cast, and crew, in this exclusive companion podcast. They will explore story elements, deep dive into character motivations, and offer an episode-by-episode behind-the-scenes breakdown of each terrifying chapter in this new series. Search FX's Alien Earth wherever you listen to podcasts.
Ma cos'è? Shoot! Shoot the flying demon!
Quite a carriage you got there. Where did you buy it, if you don't mind me asking?
Ask all you want, Freddy. You'll never get an answer.
Damn it all. Was it my eyebrows?
Yes, and your face, voice, and body.
What have you done? We used them. They were not ready for firing. You could have gotten us all killed. Let me see. His breath is more fatal than our cannons. Only when you two fools are shooting them. There, try it.
Hello and welcome to the middle of the show. This is where we talk about all the things that have to do with the lore cast and not the lore of Assassin's Creed. So the first thing that we do every week is thank all of our amazing patrons. Thank you all so much for your support. Those of you who are patrons at the Master Assassin tier and higher will be getting your merch this month, second round, which is very exciting. So if you are interested in joining the Patreon, sign up soon so you can get in on those merch goodies. And then the next thing that I have to tell you about is if you can't support us financially, the next best way to support us is by leaving us a rating or a review. And I do have one to read today, which comes from Stephen C., who commented on our Assassin or Templar Harriet Tubman episode and said this: "Love the show. I'm from Maine, and my state was created during this time period. The state did a lot for the Civil War, and I'd love to see an Assassin's Creed game set during the American Civil War. What do you guys think?" I completely agree. I think it'd be a great time period to cover, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, at least maybe on one of our patron chat episodes. So if you're interested in that, go back and listen to that episode. We definitely think this would be a good time period. And then the last and final thing I have to talk about is our Discord server, which has a ton of really awesome people who love video games and want to talk about Assassin's Creed and are really hyped for the new Assassin's Creed Shadows game and the new Dragon Age Veilguard game. So if that's you, if you want to come hang out with like-minded people, definitely come join our Discord server. And with that, I think we are ready to get back into it.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why MyLowe's Rewards members get a free Valspar paint or exterior stain sample to test your look to confidently refresh your space. Offer valid in-store only 8/7 to 8/20. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See associate for details. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
Malaka. But that madman, the self-proclaimed Bishop of the Ruins, is our biggest critic. He calls our playing the devil's bagpipes.
I will sleep with anyone as long as they agree to be executed in the morning.
Like Xanthides.
He was well satisfied with his bargain. Who is this toothsome fellow?
My queen, this is,
Well?
It is a generous offer, but I've already pledged my life to this woman.
Aya, you have chosen well.
All right, so back with Tesla. So he attempts to develop inventions he could patent. That's what he tries to do after his success with the AC induction motor. He conducts a range of experiments with mechanical oscillators, generators, electrical discharge tubes, and an early X-ray imaging. He also built a wirelessly controlled boat, one of the first ones that was ever meant to be exhibited. So he does a lot. Like, this is a lot of like early groundwork for things that all of these things are crucial in inventions that happen in the 20th century.
And things we very much take for granted now.
Yes. And this is one thing, like with Tesla, from historians. historians very much point to Tesla and say the technological surge that happened in the later half of the 20th century and then the early 21st century could not have happened without Tesla's work. Like, and that is something that people, and I think a lot of people who like champion Tesla over Edison really want known. Like, we all talk about Edison as inventor of the light bulb and everything like that, but Tesla really laid a groundwork of electrical engineering that is the reason that we all have electricity in our house for what we have it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's huge. Like, he is very, very, I do agree with a lot of the people out there saying that he does not get the respect in history that he really deserves.
Do you think that part of the reason why he doesn't really get as much of he doesn't have as much of a reputation as Edison is because Edison is like a native born American, or do you think it's just because Edison had the company?
I think it's because Edison had the company, and I think it's partly that Tesla dies penniless.
Yeah.
And that's part of what's kind of coming in, and like he had a lot of theories that no one could carry out. And we'll get into this. He is an opponent of a lot of scientific theories that would later be accepted like into the scientific community, that he opposes them that are like generally now the most accepted theories when it comes to like physics and especially experimental and theoretical physics.
Mm-hmm.
So Tesla then becomes well known as an inventor and demonstrates his achievements to celebrities and wealthy patrons at his lab, and was noted for his showmanship at public lectures. Throughout the 1890s, Tesla pursued his ideas for wireless lighting and worldwide wireless electric power distribution in his high voltage, high frequency power experiments in New York and Colorado Springs. So again, he has, like I said, he has a lot of ideas that come in that are looking to really are things that modern scientists in our modern day take and actually try to do. I mean, even thinking of like, we have wireless charging now. Like, we can put things up and they charge our phones wirelessly. That's a Tesla idea and theory. So again, like a lot of stuff that isn't really proven to come about until really the 21st century. Well over 100 years before he is coming in and doing this.
Uh-huh. Well, no, I do think that it's interesting because, like, I mean, I think, and this is jumping the gun a little bit, but I think the most interesting and heartbreaking thing about Tesla is that he is so foundational to so many processes and inventions that we take for granted today, but he almost has no recognition and, you know, dies like alone and penniless. Like, that is the saddest part of it all, honestly.
And this happens all the time. Like, you know, F. Scott Fitzgerald died penniless and never thought his book would see any kind of success. Now it is read in almost probably every high school across the American country.
True.
So this is the thing that really gets me. In 1893, I want this noted, 1893, that was over 130 years ago. Tesla makes pronouncements that he believes it is possible to have wireless communication devices.
That's crazy.
Which comes to, I mean, when you really think about this, and this is really, I think, why he gets into so much with Edison, is so much of Edison's things were these large telephone wires that get drawn across countries and these huge things that had all these wires and systems. And then here comes Tesla coming to the theory of saying, no, none of this is necessary. If we really think we can move away from all of this.
I mean, it would take 100 years for that to really happen.
Yes.
So in reality, Edison was never at risk of like losing his inventions and stuff because, I mean, he died like way before that would ever happen.
But you have to ask, would we have had it sooner if Tesla had gotten the funding that he needed?
Probably. But I still don't think Edison would have been around. Like, I think it would have still taken a long time.
That's probably true. So Tesla had a known feud with Thomas Edison, as we've mentioned too, mainly with the differences between alternating current and direct current power systems. It is worth it to say that there are multiple accounts, not just Tesla's, multiple historical accounts that Edison was a bully. That Edison was a jerk who bullied his way through and was a my way or the highway kind of person. Like this, there are multiple historical accounts, not just Tesla who says this. So we can take this that this is probably factual, that he was a bully. And he didn't really want to fund Tesla's ideas because he wanted to support his own DC power system project. Tesla would die penniless because of bad business decisions, because he funded his projects himself because no one would fund his project.
Nobody would fund his project because he made an enemy of Edison, right? And Edison bullied them?
Yes and no. It's really, that's kind of historical conjecture. Sorry, that was a big word. That was a big word for me to say.
A big word for Elmo.
No, yeah. So, but like that's like historical, like theorizing that isn't really backed by any kind of data that we can use.
Doesn't mean it didn't happen.
No.
We just don't have the primary sources and letters and stuff to back it up.
Correct. I also think that Edison's theories were proven, or not like proven, but were testable and shown some success, and Tesla's had not. So Tesla was more of a risk.
Well, and I also think that Edison's ideas are a little bit more believable than Tesla's, at least in this time period.
Right. And like thinking about, like even think about explaining wireless charging to people in the 90s. Most of us would think,
how do you do that?
How do you do that? Even when they introduced wireless charging to me when I was like in the 21st century, I was like, how does that work? How does that
I still don't understand
right
it.
Like I still don't get it either, and I'm sure there's someone out there who could explain it to us, but I will be quite honest with you, you can explain it to us, but I will not remember anything about it or understand how it works.
Don't waste your breath.
Right. So some people do blame his pennilessness on his feud with Edison, but like I said, that is kind of like a theory that has no like hard historical evidence to back up. It is more plausible than Catherine Medici being a witch. So here are some beliefs that Tesla believed that I think got him in trouble generally. Tesla did not believe that atoms existed of or consisted of subatomic particles.
Neurons, electrons. Yeah.
Protons.
Yeah.
He didn't believe those existed.
Is it neurons? Neutrons.
Neutron, something like neurons are in
neurons
our brain.
The
in
brain.
The brain. Neutrons.
Look, we're not scientists, people. We're really out on a limb here from our usual topics.
Shelby can attest. I have very much more detailed show notes than I normally do.
Yeah, for sure. I looked at them and I was like, wow, this is like 4 pages long. Who is this? And what did they do with Austin/Teacup?
Right. So, which we now know that atoms do exist of some subatomic particles. Like, we know that's for a fact. And within Tesla's lifetime, that would be disproved.
I can't imagine being so wrong. Like, I would be so embarrassed.
Well, no one ever thought, like, we would ever have the technology to split the atom. And I think about this, and we'll talk about him in a future episode, but Tesla and Oppenheimer are very similar in their, like...
ingenuity?
Yes, that word. And their forethinking of saying, hey, can this be done? Let's do it. Oppenheimer just has the funding, and he also has the funding because we're at war and people need him to be right. So he also criticized the theory that matter could be converted into energy and was critical of the theory of relativity. So not only is he going against Edison, he's also going up against Einstein as well.
I just kind of feel like, read the room, bro.
We're looking at hindsight a little bit of saying like, okay, like you were wrong, but really no one knew if Edison or Einstein was right when they were doing their stuff.
Yeah, no, I get that. We did know that Einstein was right, like in Einstein's lifetime. But it also very much is like, why did he feel the need to go on record and criticize these other scientists and these other theories? Like, you could have just kept your mouth shut and probably kept a lot of your money, or at least your backers.
Yeah, I know. So we know now that electricity is transmitted through electrons. Like, that is part of how electricity works, with positive and negative charges and all of that stuff. He believed that there existed an ether that transmitted electrical energy, which at the time doesn't sound too far-fetched, but now in hindsight, we're like, no. So basically he believed in like an electrical dimension that transferred electrical energy. Again, we are not scientists. If you are a physicist or something and you can explain to me what exactly Tesla meant by an ether, that would be really helpful to me. Just so I could wrap my mind around this. But let's talk about his beliefs about society, because these are where we get into some fun stuff. And by fun, I mean problematic. So Tesla is widely considered by his biographers to have a humanist outlook on philosophy and life. Now, humanist, for those of you who don't know, basically means that you believe in like the betterment of humanity, and that humanity is the pinnacle of basically like creation and the natural world. And humanity will always, at its core, strive for goodness and be a good thing in the world.
And that we can like choose goodness, basically.
Yes, that is what humanists believe. And like there are some parts of that I agree with, and there are some parts of that I'm like, have you looked outside?
I think that's trash. Like, I was going to hold it in, but then you decided to open the floodgates. Like, I think that is such crap. Like, if humans can choose to be good, and if we are the pinnacle of goodness, how do you explain evil? How do you explain people behaving badly throughout history?
Right. I think it really characterizes that, like, there are so many people in the, like, scientific, inventive community that turn a blind eye to the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
That turn a blind eye to everything going around that, and all they see is the progress and everything. And yeah, we got rid of slavery and we got rid of this in the Western world, and we're moving in this positive direction. And as we know, when we look around history, once the 20s happen, that outlook, the 20s and like the early 10s happen, that outlook starts going downhill real fast. And then the 30s and 40s happen, and that outlook is thrown out the window.
Well, and I mean, even with the Industrial Revolution and the turn of the century, like, there are so many evil things that happen in the sake of progress. Like, you know, there are so many stories of factories, of, you know, children being a workforce, of, you know, women being paid pennies of what men are being paid, and like, you know, the radium girls who, if you don't know what that is, just look it up. Like, they're basically, you know, poisoned and lose their bodies because they're exposed to these chemicals, and there's all kinds of stuff that happen in Industrial Revolution era, when we don't have regulations and we don't have, you know, things that protect the workers. But it's oftentimes, I think, plastered over by like, oh, well, like, it was progress and like it was eventually good, but there are a lot of people that had to give up their lives for that progress.
And one story that comes to mind is happened in a like clothing factory in New York, and they had locked the women in there in like an effort to like increase their productivity and make sure that they didn't take breaks. Well, then the building caught fire and they all died because they were locked in there.
That is called the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, in case anybody wants to look it up.
I think the humanist outlook has some good ideas that have some positive things, especially like when you're trying to push a society to goodness, telling us that like goodness is something that we can achieve and that we choose can be a positive motivator. But to say that humanity is the pinnacle of all goodness is a little naive.
But let's get into some of his other beliefs.
Even though he does believe this does not basically prevent him, like many people of this era, from becoming a proponent of selective breeding, which is a version of eugenics, which is the idea that there are certain genes or certain traits that humanity should be forwarding, and anyone who does not have those traits should be prohibited from having children. And I have a quote from an interview with him. "Man's new sense of pity began with the interference of the ruthless workings of nature. The only method compatible with our notion of civilization and the race is to prevent the breeding of the unfit by sterilization and deliberate guidance of the mating instinct. The trend of opinion among eugenicists is that we must make marriage more difficult. Certainly no one who is not a desirable parent should be permitted to produce progeny. A century from now, it will no more occur to a normal person to mate with a person eugenically unfit than to marry a habitual criminal."
Well, a century from now is where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
And people still marry criminals.
This is the thing about, like, I think from an idealistic standpoint, And like when you take Darwin's theory of, you know, evolution and how dominant traits happen, eugenics is not what Darwin intended. Darwin was observing a natural phenomenon in nature and just articulating what it was.
Yeah, he wasn't applying it and like using it to predict what humanity was going to do.
Right. And that's the problem is these men, and I'm going to say men because the most of them were men, decided to do this and decide what traits of humanity. And what happened is their biases came in, and the people who were unfit were black people, were Jewish people, were other things. The idea of eugenics is one of the foundational philosophies that leads to the Holocaust.
And I mean, it's very interesting, this quote you've brought up, because, I mean, to me, it implies that, like, the reason why they have to prevent the breeding of the unfit is because anybody who's married is going to procreate. Anybody who's married is going to have children, and there will be too many children. But we have completely different concerns now, because, I mean, when Tesla was around, birth control was not a thing, or if it was, it like very early stages by the end of World War II, after World War II. So like that wasn't a consideration. And now we have a declining fertility rate, at least in America and in other countries too. So I think that we just have very different concerns nowadays. Like somebody would never say this today, you know?
So many criticisms are being lodged at young adults for not having children now.
I know, it's like the exact opposite thing.
So finally, to AC involvement. He just has a lot that I think is foundational for our discussion.
I can see how the eugenics conversation is going to absolutely tie into Assassin versus Templar.
So Tesla isn't in any of the games. He's mentioned in some codices and database entries. He is in the comic books and some novels. He worked with Edison. It is noted to note that Thomas Edison is a confirmed Templar. So that's important to note. So Tesla actually is an assassin sympathizer, according to the lore. He helps them destroy a Staff of Eden. He is kidnapped by Hero Kramer, who invented the die Glock, which we talked about before. Like, that happened. He helps... Tesla builds the bell. He builds the precursor to the Animus. All of Tesla's ideas come from the Apple of Eden.
All of his inventions come from the Apple of Eden?
Yes. Are you now convinced Elon Musk is a Templar?
I didn't need this episode to convince me of that.
So he's an assassin sympathizer. He helps them do a lot of stuff. He sabotages the die Glock. He blows up a Staff of Eden. Like, he does all of these things that are helpful. So there's not really an argument of if he's an assassin or not, because the lore states that he is an assassin sympathizer. However, I want to bring in a question. Is this honest or faithful to the person Tesla was, from what we know of history and what the records that we have?
I think it's kind of shitty to make a man who arguably was most likely abused by his boss, at least verbally, in Edison, and died penniless and didn't really get recognition for his inventions, to take away his lasting legacy of the invention and say, oh, well, actually, in our world, this was just given to him through this magical artifact, and he had nothing and was nobody.
To be fair to Assassin's Creed, that's how every invention in time has come from pieces of Eden. Like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Tesla, all of these people, Benjamin Franklin, all of them have pieces of Eden contact.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the difference is that, like, Benjamin Franklin, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, they all have other lives. They all have money. They all have homes. They all have, legacies, and Tesla doesn't really have that.
I think one of the reasons with Tesla is often defined as a futurist, which is the idea that, like, he has so much, like, theorizing about the future and far beyond the future. Like, the whole ideas that we used to have of, like, do you remember those cartoons, like The World of Tomorrow, those little cartoon shorts where they'd have all the houses with the inventions. Like,
Yeah.
that's Tesla. I think, like, you bring up, like, you look at someone like Howard and Tony Stark from Marvel, and, like, they're so obviously modeled after Tesla. I think Tesla has such a high influence in, like, this forward future thinking. And, like, obviously, like, Howard Stark draws from a lot of people, Oppenheimer, Tesla, Edison, all of them kind of combined in there. But I just think that I do agree with you. Like, it is kind of crappy to take his achievements. This man who arguably had a lot of achievements, even if, you know, he had the shitty opinion of eugenics and he had some wrong scientific stuff, he was still right about all of this electrical theory. And in retrospect, the theories that he criticized being right helped his theories actually become true.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to get into kind of our topic, which is whether or not he was an assassin or Templar, like we know from the lore that he was a sympathizer. I'm going to go on record. Here's my thought. I don't think that he was an assassin sympathizer because he sympathized and believed in the assassin's code and belief system. I think he is an assassin sympathizer because he had beef with Edison and he knew Edison was a Templar.
And, like, he is abused by the Templars over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like a situation, like, given different circumstances, Tesla would be a Templar, just like Otto Berg, given different circumstances, might be an assassin.
An assassin. Yeah, because I don't see a person who is so committed to eugenics aligning at all with the assassins. And to me, it's a wonder that he's even a sympathizer, which I think goes to show you, A, how deep his beef with Edison is, and B, how pissed off he probably was at the Templars for kidnapping him.
Mm-hmm. And I think, in general, Tesla wanted his inventions to be used for the betterment of society. I think that is a core belief that he has. He wanted his inventions to better society, to better the world, to further humanity. And I could see him, especially the Templars, wanting to hoard all of that for themselves, not wanting to share inventions. I could see Tesla having a big problem with that.
Yes, I very much agree with that.
Well, any last thoughts before we wrap it up?
I feel like you've done a lot of research, and I feel like we've extended ourselves a little bit further than we normally do with this one, so thank you for that. But this episode to me was kind of the opposite of the Harriet Tubman. Like, someone I didn't like. This one feels like somebody I didn't really like, and I'm coming out the other side not really liking them. Whereas with Harriet Tubman, it was like, oh, I really like you. I've learned all these awesome things about you, and now I like you even more. So Tesla is like, I'm not really a fan, and now I have even more reason to puke at the Cybertruck.
I'll relate this. There's a philosopher named Martin Heidegger who, yes, I know you're rolling your eyes right now. He has some interesting theories about human existence and human motivation. But he was also a Nazi. And there are sometimes you can excuse people for being products of their time and explain away like, oh, like they still have valuable things. I don't think Tesla's there yet. I think he still has valuable like things, obviously scientifically, that we have used to create inventions that for the most part have bettered society. I know we can argue about the iPhone and whether or not it has bettered society or not. But in general, like, it has allowed, like, if we think about this, wireless communication and stuff has allowed for people to get medical care when they couldn't do that. Like, there have been really, really good and beneficial things that have come from these theories that Tesla started. So I think we're not quite at the point of, yeah, he was a Nazi, so we should discount everything. I think his contributions, he should be noted for his contributions, and he should get the respect he should do. We should also criticize him that, no, we should not take philosophical and societal advice from the science inventor.
It should be said, Tesla is not a Nazi. Like, he is not. His ideas, I mean, eugenics are something the Nazis build upon, but he was not affiliated with the Nazi party. It should be said, for sure, no. But yeah, I agree with you. Like we shouldn't be looking to the scientific community just because they are smart. Just because they're smart, that doesn't mean they know everything, you know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it's just kind of a thing of, as a scientist, as an inventor, he's looking for specific questions and answers to those questions. Whereas like a sociologist or a theologian or a philosopher are asking different questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was a really interesting episode. I feel like we both agree if his circumstances had been different, he very easily could have gone to the Templars. But thank you for doing the research as always, Austin. I know that you definitely put in the hours on this one. So thank you again. And thank you all for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. You can find us on Twitter at ACLorecast.
If you have any lore questions or topics to unpack, join our Cups Podcasting and More Discord server. It's the best place on the internet. You can also support us financially through our Patreon. Find us on patreon.com/Assassin's Creed Lorecast. The Assassin's Creed Lorecast is part of the Robots Radio Network. For more information about the Robots Radio Network, join the Discord server via the link in our episode's description.
If you enjoyed the show or learned something new today, please subscribe, leave us a review, and join the Patreon. And if you enjoyed our intro and outro music, make sure you give a big thank you to Pipeman Studios. Thank you, Pipeman. Thanks again for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. And always remember, Assassins, stay in the shadows to serve the light.
Want to live better? We got a lot of work to do. Join Chris Hemsworth in National Geographic's new Disney Plus original series, Limitless. Live Better Now.
I'm diving headfirst into cutting-edge science to uncover 3 powerful secrets to living better right now. The growth that occurs through any challenging experience is really what we seek.
Chris Hemsworth stars in Limitless. Live Better Now. Now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
It's showtime.
When a wasteland detective and a vault girl cross paths, no criminal is safe.
You're both under arrest.
Don't move a muscle if you know what's good for you.
Based in Bethesda's Fallout series, follow Walter and Bunny as they traverse the Texas Commonwealth and New Vegas, busting big crime rings.
We'll need all we can to expand into Vegas territory.
And surviving anything the wasteland can throw at them.
It's him! It's the Mothman!
Featuring a series of nail-biting narratives and guest stars from across the Fallout community. It's anybody's guess what thrilling case is up next.
War never changes, does it, Bunny?
No, it certainly does not.
True Vault Escapades, a Fallout audio drama. Available anywhere you get podcasts.